with Veronica to ask her about Title IX. So do you even know what Title IX is?
No, I don't.
Okay, so Title IX is pretty much protecting women's rights and giving us the same rights as men do. But there's a few things about it. Do you want to know about like sexual harassment and on campus and all that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so for most women on campus, we have a Title IX coordinator on campus due to the Supreme Court because otherwise we'd be in huge trouble because for most women, 8 out of 10 students usually get sexually harassed on campus and 25% are usually women. Back before we had Title IX, most crude comments towards women would practically be just blown past, nobody would really care about it, but today you actually get in huge trouble for it, so that's why I feel like you need to know about this on campus, because if you do get sexually harassed, you need to go to our Title IX coordinator, and she will report it, which will help keep women safe on campus, because if women don't report it, usually what happens is they don't want to go to school, so they're missing classes and failing out of classes. They are also taking different ways to get back to their dorm rooms, to get home, whatever way they usually go home, just to try to avoid sexual harassment. And also, they lose trouble sleeping at night, so when it comes around finals time, you're not getting sleep because you're too worried about sexual harassment. So, those are some few facts. I hope that helps you around campus and keeps you safe. So,
Thank you.
Now I have Kelsey with me.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about Title IX, Kelsey?
Never heard of it.
Okay, so as I've also told Veronica, which I think you overheard while you were walking past, that Title IX protects women's rights here on campus and throughout the United States. So I want to talk to you about employment. Do you know how it helps you through employment? Or not really?
No.
So what happens with employment is that most women usually, it helps protect your job, so like you're not going to just be picked over somebody because you're a woman or because they're a man. So that usually helps. Back in the day, we were only allowed to be teachers. And
Exactly.
so now we're not really just to that.
Forced to go
Yeah.
one way.
So you can go be a lawyer, you can go be a scientist blowing up stuff, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So even though today with employment we're allowed to do whatever we want, there's a huge wage gap. Like before it was even bigger, but now that we have Title IX, it's a little bit smaller, but we're still fighting today to get that. So that's why T9's critical. Title IX, as I want to keep calling it T9. Title IX is critical for us because it's helping us gain the same rights as men do. Because
Which we should probably already have.
yeah, we should have, but we don't today. So that's pretty much it, but it helps you get a job without being just tossed to the side because it's a man instead of you.
Yeah.
It helps you be seen as an employee instead of just another woman walking around in the office. And then as you heard with Veronica about me telling about the sexual harassment, it keeps you safe while you're working. So that's pretty much all about Title IX and
Cool.
employment. So it's Jess, she's on the volleyball team with me. Do you know what Title IX is? Or?
Yes.
Okay, so what is it to you?
It means that women can now play sports instead of just square dancing and cheerleading, which they had to do in the past. And also it means that girls, when a school does not offer a sport for girls, the school has to allow women to play on the men's team and the same goes for men.
Yeah, and did you also know that colleges only have 2% of their budget go to most college athletes? And before we even had Title IX, only 1 in 27 girls were allowed to play on their high school team. So we didn't really have that fair advantage like you were talking about just a second ago. And also, like, it's hard for us today because we get a lot less scholarships than guys do, so we're still trying to fight to earn that. So, do you guys know what Title IX is? Or? Do you know how it affects your education? So before Title IX, we wouldn't actually be able to come to school because we were always, like, the guys would get picked over us, so only like a few women would be able to go to college because we were only really allowed to do like teaching or like stay-at-home moms and stuff like that. But due to Title IX, we're actually allowed to like become doctors and go to higher education like schools. So you were not going to just be picked over if you applied to Harvard. You wouldn't be picked over for a guy and a girl. It'd be actually based on your education. So, yeah. But, and it also helps play a role with your rights because of the math and science degrees. You usually wouldn't get scholarships for that. school for you. So it also helps pay for your school in that kind of aspect. Because usually you don't see women going into math and sciences, where now in math and sciences they want you more to be involved.
So the major of math and science was?
It's just in general, we're more likely to get scholarships than we were before Title IX. But if you're in a math and science, they're more likely to give you one if you're a girl now, because they're excited that you're interested in it, where back in the day you weren't allowed to be interested in it. So that's really cool. And it has you here at school now, where before we wouldn't actually be here, it'd just be mostly guys. So we get an education with this, but we're still fighting today to get more stuff here, because it's just, we haven't broken the glass ceiling yet, where we have the equal rights as guys do. Carolyn Boone, she's here in our Baker's Commons, and she's one of the experts on Title IX here at campus. She's one of our coordinators. And I was just wondering, like, why do you think Title IX is important for kids on campus to know about?
Well, I think it's important because there's some very important rights that go along with Title IX. Title IX is an anti-discrimination law at its very core. So as a result, students should know what their rights are.
Exactly.
I'm all in favor of students knowing about what their rights are. So it's an important protection too.
Yeah, definitely.
So that students feel like if there has been some discrimination on the basis of their gender, their sex, they have an avenue to go to, and that discrimination can vary from just very minor, what are seemingly minor kinds of incidents, right through to rape, and all those things in between. Sometimes I think, oh, maybe I'm just making too much out of it. And society as a whole kind of imposes that on us as well, I think.
It's like a social issue.
It is very much a social issue, and at the age that college students are coming, the vast majority here at TC3 are coming as 17, 18, 19-year-olds.
And still in like their personal orbits, still trying to get out of them and all of that.
Right, and not knowing what the rights are. So, this kind of, confluence of events happening all at once. So that's why it becomes very important, I think. But we have seen an increase in reports since we have upped our visibility on campus and stuff. We have seen increased reports. Which is good. It's not good.
It's not a good thing, but it's good they're reporting.
Right, exactly. It's good that and we have systems in place, and people can choose to report, but then not have anything done about it. I find very often that students are just like, I just want you to know that it happened. I don't want you to do anything, and we honor those requests to the extent that we can by law. If something really significant happens, sometimes we have to take it a step further. But we always keep in mind what the person who was harassed or discriminated against in any way.
And their well-being and...
Right, exactly. We always honor that to the extent that we can by law. We always, however, record these incidents so that if we get like 6 reports from 6 different people and we can tie them to the same perpetrator, then we can do things. Sometimes they don't know who it is, because sometimes it's that inappropriate touching, down the hall or in the elevator, or and they don't even know who the person is. And we're required by law to look into that and to see if there's a pattern, if there's something that's always happening,
And where most people don't know that they can do that.
Exactly. So there are a lot of things that we're required to do by law, but there are also things that we would want to do anyway. So that's the kind of thing that we try and have people understand about the process.
It's very important.
It is
for everyone's safety.
There's a lot of information that we have available on the web. We're getting more up. We're having a new Title IX website that's going to be, I think, a little more user friendly.
Awesome.
Reports can be made anonymously to us through our there's a Title IX email address.
Email, okay.
That you could use, your non-TC3 email to report something. Things like that can happen as well if people are uncomfortable. We really encourage you not to be uncomfortable. One of the reasons we have 4 Title IX coordinators, most colleges don't.
Feel that everyone should know, or?
Well, I certainly think that everyone should know that we have, a process for when these things happen. We're more than happy to follow through with, kind of understanding what happened, trying to stop it from happening again, making sure that the retaliated against, that they report. And it can be not just student against student, it can be a faculty member, student harassment. You know, it's
just all of it.
All of it. I mean, we